Hello, my name's Jean Robinson and I'm one of the priests at St John the Baptist Church, West Byfleet, and I'd like to share with you today my thought for the day. Going back to March 2020, who would ever have believed that as we approach March 2021, we would still be living under so many restrictions to our lives? I don't know about you, but in many ways, these last months seem to have been the most challenging of all. But looking back over this past strange year, time seems to have passed remarkably quickly, although I would have expected it to have dragged on, especially in the absence of the usual things which mark our year, mark out the time even in our week. I recently read a Facebook post which said, "It's difficult to comprehend how it's March again in 2 weeks, as it feels like March was only yesterday, and yet somehow 17 years ago, all at the same time." Over these past months, it may well have felt that that dark tunnel we were going through was getting longer and longer, and the light at the end of it dimmer and dimmer. But even so, there have been chinks of light, glimmers of positivity throughout. How amazing that effective vaccines have been developed and administered to so many people in less than 12 months. There have been great examples of community spirit. Neighbours have got to know each other better. And the actions of some ordinary and yet maybe extraordinary people have been inspirational. I've recently finished reading Captain Sir Tom Moore's autobiography. I don't suppose he could ever have imagined how those last months of his life would pan out. How a simple walk up and down his garden with his trusty frame would have had such an impact on a global scale and raise all those millions of pounds for NHS charities, as well as inspiring a lot of other people to do the same. He became an unlikely celebrity, and his can-do attitude and his positivity came to be a focus for perseverance and hope, which we all needed during those dark times. Captain Tom's long life was not without pain or personal struggle, but it was a life full of hope and optimism. He lived by that motto, which is the title of his book, "Tomorrow Will Be a Good Day." But having hope is far more than just thinking things will turn out well, seeing that best case scenario. Biblical scholar and former bishop N.T. Wright says this: "Hope for the Christian is not wishful thinking or mere blind optimism. It is a mode of knowing, a mode within which new things are possible. Options are not shut down. New creation can happen." The Prime Minister's announcement this week about the roadmap out of lockdown helps us to see the light at the end of the tunnel, even though it may still be some way off. We can be sure that life won't go back to exactly the same as it was before the pandemic began, but we can be hopeful that a new normal will emerge, and life will again be able to be shared with others as it always was. Life will once more be able to enjoyed in all its fullness, which is of course that life which God promises all of us through Christ. The hope we can hold on to is that trusting in God, new beginnings are always possible, and we do not journey alone. God is always ready to guide us and to give us light. I'd like to leave you with a prayer written by John D. Rayner, a Jewish rabbi who came to this country from Germany as a young boy on the last of the Kinder transports. His parents both died in concentration camps. When evil darkens our world, give us light. When despair numbs our souls, give us hope. When we stumble and fall, lift us up. When doubts assail us, give us faith. When nothing seems sure, give us trust. When ideals fade, give us vision. When we lose our way, be our guide. That we may find serenity in your presence and purpose in following your will. Amen. May you know God's presence with you over these coming days.